Now. All right. Thank you for tuning in to Quimby CLE. I am your host, Eric Servone, and today I'm honored to be joined by Lars Daniel. Lars is a computer forensics investigator in Raleigh, North Carolina. He's the co-author of the book Digital Forensics for Legal Professionals, Understanding Digital Evidence from the Warrant to the Courtroom. He's also the co-author of the book Digital Forensics Trial Graphics, Educating the Jury Through Effective Use of Visuals. Today, we're going to be talking about consumer electronics and the Internet of Things, digital evidence. It's fascinating, cutting-edge stuff. Lars, thank you so much for being here.
No, absolutely. My pleasure.
So let's just dive right into it, Lars. Tell me about it. Tell me about the Internet of Things. Tell me about consumer electronics, digital evidence.
Yeah, it's a big topic. And the reason it's a big topic is that this is the next wave of evidence that's going to be hitting us, right? So this is everything from medical ingestibles to wearable technology to smart home assistants to your very own vehicles. And we're going to cover this in great detail. But when I start this class, I like to start in a particular place, and that's by talking about the Chinese social credit system. Because in many ways, the very first impacts on a large scale we have seen of Internet of Things technology being utilized has been in China, and we've seen some pretty amazing examples of this. So as we're looking at the Chinese social credit system as our intro into this, a few things to note about this is we're all familiar with a credit score, right? Where you can see your value as a human based upon how well you handle money. Well, the Chinese social credit system does that for all of life. So it's not just looking at your finances, it's looking at your internet activity, it's looking at your other lifestyle factors from places that they gather data. And those data is gathered from various sources. This includes your traditional inputs, like do you pay your taxes, your loans, your credit card bills, and so forth. We're familiar with that. It also has social inputs, though. Are you following traffic rules, including things like jaywalking? Adherence to family planning units? Are you volunteering? Are you having academic honesty, your criminal records, and so forth? But of particular interest to us, both the social inputs, and we'll talk about why that's the case in a minute, is also online inputs. So with this, they are gathering information both from companies that work with the government and the government themselves of your interactions with other internet users, the reliability of information you post or repost online, and we'll see why that matters shortly. And also things like your shopping habits, who you spend time with on the internet, how much time you spend doing online gaming, and so forth. And there are real impacts to not following the rules that they've set for how you keep your score up, which is pretty fascinating too. And some of those impacts include banning you from getting on the train or flying, throttling your internet speed. So in other words, if your score gets lower, they will reduce the amount of bandwidth or speed that you get personally from the internet. They can ban you from schools and your kids from schools, stop you from getting the best jobs, getting the best hotels. And yes, you can get your pets taken away. That has happened, and that has actually happened to an attorney I know who was talking to a colleague who was working in China, another attorney, and they were talking about pets over the phone and said, stop, you can't talk about that. And she actually had her pet taken away as a part of that conversation. You can even be publicly named as a bad citizen. And this isn't simply in some registry back deep in some internet bureaucratic folder. This can be posting you on the internet saying you're a bad citizen, or it sees you via facial recognition technology, which we'll look at in the next slide, and can post you on like a billboard in the future, right? And also, one interesting fact is even if you handle money really well and financially you're excellent, having a low credit score because of other lifestyle factors, social credit score, will keep you from being able to get loans, credit cards, or other types of financial assistance. Now, facial recognition technology has come leaps and bounds over the handful of years since it first began. In 2019, it was estimated that they had 200 million smart cameras, a part of a system that they called Skynet in China. And as you're probably familiar, the way they sold this to the population is we're going to use this system to track fugitives and people who do bad stuff, right? We're going to look for bad people so we can get them off the streets, keep everybody safe. In reality, this technology is utilized to monitor all of their citizens, okay? So the number is over 570 million estimated now that are simply mostly in the mainland regional areas of like the more densely populated sections of China. And that's not all of the cameras, those are smart cameras, right? So even a camera that's not a smart camera, your standard surveillance cameras, you could take that video footage and run it post hoc, right after the fact, through this analysis software, and then it can still identify everyone anyway. So the amount of that technology is pretty astounding, and how much they're implementing it in China.